Hello and welcome. In today's session, I will discuss about Erikson's psychosocial theory. And Erikson here discuss about 8 stages. And these 8 stages are very important for human growth and development. So I'll just read out what Erikson mentioned in his theory. Erikson proposed a psychoanalytic theory of psychosocial development comprising 8 stages from infancy to adulthood. During each stage, the person experiences a psychosocial crisis which could have a positive or negative outcome for personality development. Erikson's ideas were greatly influenced by Freud. Going along with Freud's theory regarding the structure and topography of personality. However, whereas Freud was an id psychologist, Erikson was an ego psychologist. He emphasized the role of culture and society and the conflicts that can take place within the ego itself, whereas Freud emphasized the conflict between the id and the superego. According to Erikson, the ego develops as it successfully resolves crises that are distinctly social in nature. This involves establishing a sense of trust in others, developing a sense of identity in the society, and helping the next generation prepare for the future. Psychosocial stages. Erikson's 1959 theory of psychosocial development has 8 distinct stages, taking in 5 stages up to the age of 18 years and 3 further stages beyond, well into adulthood. Erikson suggested that there is still plenty of room for continued growth and development throughout one's life. Erikson put a great deal of emphasis on the adolescent period, feeling it was a crucial stage for developing a person's identity. Like Freud, Erikson assumes that a crisis occurred at each stage of development. For Erikson in 1963, these crises are of psychosocial nature because they involve psychological needs of the individual, that is psycho, conflicting with the need of society, that is social. According to the theory, successful completion of each stage results in a healthy personality and its acquisition of basic virtues. Basic virtues are characteristic strengths which the ego can use to resolve subsequent crises. Failure to successfully complete a stage can result in a reduced ability to complete further stages and therefore a more unhealthy personality and sense of self. These stages, however, can be resolved successfully at a later time. So these are the stages. Stages: psychosocial crisis, basic virtue, and age. See, stage 1, that is trust versus mistrust, and basic virtue is hope, and the age is infancy, that is 0 to 1.5 years. Then stage 2 is anatomy versus shame, and basic virtue is will, and age is early childhood, that is 1.5 years to 3 years. Then stage 3, initiative versus guilt, and basic virtue is purpose, that is play age, that is age 3 to 5 years. Then stage 4, industry versus inferiority, and the basic virtue is competency, and that is school age, that is age 5 years to 12 years. Then stage 5, ego identity versus role confusion, and basic virtue is fidelity, and the age is adolescence, that is 12 years to 18 years. Then stage 6, intimacy versus isolation, and basic virtue is love, and the age is young adult, that is 18 to 40 years. Then stage 7, generativity versus stagnation, and basic virtue is care, and age is adulthood, that is 40 to 65 years. Then stage 8, last stage, no, that is ego integrity versus despair, and basic virtue is wisdom, and age is maturity, that is 65 years and above. Now I will go to each stage one by one. So the first stage is trust versus mistrust. In the world a safe place, or is it full of unpredictable events and accidents waiting to happen? Erikson's first psychosocial crisis occurs during the first year or so of life, like Freud's oral stage of psychosexual development. The crisis is one of trust versus mistrust. During this stage, the infant is uncertain about the world in which they live. To resolve these feelings of uncertainty, the infant looks towards their primary caregiver for stability and consistency of care. If the care the infant received is consistent, predictable, and reliable, they will develop a sense of trust which will carry with them to other relationships, and they will be able to feel secure even when threatened. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of hope. By developing a sense of trust, the infant can have hope that as new crises arise, there is a real possibility that other people will be there as a source of support. Failing to acquire the virtue of hope will lead to the development of fear. For example, if the care has been harsh or inconsistent, unpredictable, and unreliable, then the infant will develop a sense of mistrust and will not have confidence in the world around them or in their abilities to influence events. This infant will carry the basic sense of mistrust with them to other relationships. It may result in anxiety, heightened insecurities, and an overfeeling of mistrust in the world around them. Consistent with Erikson's view on the importance of trust, research by Bowlby and Ainsworth has outlined how the quality of the early experience of attachment can affect relationships with others in later life. Second stage is all about autonomy versus shame and doubt. The child is developing physically and becoming more mobile. Between the ages of 18 months to and 3 years, children begin to assert their independence by walking away from their mother, picking which toy to play with, and making choices about what they like to wear, to eat, etc. The child is discovering that he or she has many skills and abilities, such as putting on clothes and shoes, playing with toys, etc. Such skills illustrate the children's growing sense of independence and autonomy. Erikson states it is critical that parents allow their children to explore the limits of their abilities within an encouraging environment which is tolerant of failure. For example, rather than put on a children's clothes, a supportive parent should have the patience to allow the child to try until they succeed or ask for assistance. So the parents need to encourage the child to become more independent while at the same time protecting the child so that consistent failure is avoided. A delicate balance is required from the parent. They must try not to do everything for the child, but if the child fails at a particular task, they must not criticize the child for failures and accidents, particularly when toilet training. The aim has to be self control without a loss of self esteem. That has mentioned by Gross in 1992. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of will. If children in this stage are encouraged and supported in their increased independence, they become more confident and secure in their own ability to survive in the world. If children are criticized, overly controlled, or not even the opportunity to assert themselves, they begin to feel inadequate in their ability to survive and may then become overly dependent upon others, lack of self esteem, and feel a sense of shame or doubt in their abilities. Stage 3 deals with initiative versus guilt. Around age 3 and continuing to age 5, children assert themselves more frequently. These are particularly lively, rapid developing years in children's life. According to B 1992, it is a time of vigor of action and of behaviors that the parents may see as aggressive. During this period, the primary feature involves the child regularly interacting with other children at school. Central to this stage is play, as it provides children with the opportunity to explore their interpersonal skills through initiating activities. Children begin to plan activities, make up games, and initiate activities with others. If given this opportunity, children develop a sense of initiative and feel secure in their ability to lead others and make decisions. Conversely, if this tendency is squelched either through criticism or control, children develop a sense of guilt. They may feel like a nuisance to others and will, therefore, remain followers lacking in self initiative. The child takes initiative, which the parents will often try to stop in order to protect the child. The child will often overstep the mark in his forcefulness, and the danger is that the parents will tend to punish the child and restrict his initiative too much. It is at this stage that the child will begin to ask many questions as his thirst of knowledge grows. If the parents treat the child's question as trivial, a nuisance, or embracing or other aspects of their behavior as threatening, then the child may have feeling of guilt for being a nuisance. Too much guilt can make a child slow to interact with others and may inhibit their creativity. Some guilt is, of course, necessary. Otherwise, the child would not know how to exercise self control or have a conscience. A healthy balance between initiative and guilt is important. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of purpose. So that's all for today. Today I have discussed three stages, and tomorrow I will continue the remaining stages. Thank you. Have a nice day to you.